Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Hello everybody, welcome to Lights Out League Racing. We are on season 25, yes you heard it right, season 25, race 1 at Miami International Autodrome, and it looks like a very wet white Miami. Sorry, you normally you expect the sunglasses, the bikinis, the rollerblades. No, anoraks, and yeah, expected probably a better turnout than we've got, especially with it being the first race of a brand new season. Gonna have to have a bit of a sort out of this after, but we are with the drivers that we got, and I do thank everyone for turning up. I do love Miami. I don't get to race on it that often, so when I do, I really enjoy it. It seems to be one of my favourite tracks. And it's 5.4 kilometre track, anti-clockwise, 19 corners, 7 to the right and 12 to the left. 3 DRS zones, which are very powerful ones, especially the one that we're on currently down to turn 11. I think the drivers will make good use of them with a bit of slipstream as well. Not right now in quali, because it is wet and seems dry enough. Well, dry enough. It's not that wet for so they can use the inters, but it's still a tricky one, tricky surface, tricky game anyway with how they've got the dynamics and everything set up. But the drivers have had a good month and a half to try and get used to the new handling model with its updates. But we are on with Looper, and we shall do the ever popular flying lap as he comes round the final corner over the start finish line. Would open up the DRS on a dry one, but it does not turn. Goes down to turn 1 on the far left to open up the car down to a third. Little bit of a wobble there. You want to go through turns of 3, avoid those curves or you will go flying. You can see how tricky and just clips the wall. You can see how tricky the conditions are. As you go off to turn 4, you want to lift off, probably a bit of braking in these conditions, but go through as much speed as possible. Turn 5 and 6 again, stay off the curves, so you can go round in 6. Turn 7 and 8, you want to trail brake round this corner, avoid the curves and the exits, and then you foot down, great slipstream and DRS opportunities of overtaking, which the line is here, but again it's not really active, going through turns 8, 9 and 10. And then it's one of the most popular overtaking opportunities down to turn 11, far right as possible. Again, you want to just touch the inside curb and not go over there or you can invalidate. Loop round turn 12, the bulb, the penis I call it, turn 13, cut that corner. The Mickey Mouse chicane turns 14, 15, ends invalidated, but we'll follow his lap round anyway. Round turn 16, we'll go as far right and open up that throttle and the DRS if it was active, all the way down to turn 17, which again, this is another overtaking opportunity. And you want to brake down to third and split the inside. It's gone a bit wide, but you do want to go wide, so again open up that corner. He's going to finish the lap, but could have gone in. He's going to do another one, but over start finish line, and that is the lap. And we've got Flygate coming over. He's going to be the first with a 39.3. Big Racky, and I think cars have probably got a bit of fuel in at the moment. Big Racky goes over to 37.9. See the times knocking down as Castanese jumps over and goes on a 37.6. Dan Morrison, McLaren coming next. And you see the times are just dropping, 37.3. Great lap from him. We've got Aston Martin of Leon. No, my eyes deceived me. Noodle starting his lap. We do have the second McLaren coming around of Will. We'll see where he's going to cross the line. It's not as quick as the drives in front. It's probably going to end for the back, but that's a good starting lap. It is tricky conditions. 1:39.9. Mercedes is AJ, which time is going to be very similar. Goes up to provisional P4. And another lap from, this is a lap from Leon, who's joining us for the first week. And what else should do, I'll just see if I can invite somebody. See if he's online. I don't think he is. I think he's copping out, but we'll send him another one anyway. Well, it's a bit of a poor showing from everybody. And I'll have a few words, but we'll follow Leon round. A few cars have got a bit of fuel in. You can see how tricky these conditions are. And maybe potentially it's going to be a dry race, and the drivers have got setups for dry conditions, so it adds to the tricky drive. So still a few drivers set a time. Giza and Wayne sitting in the pit. Giza just coming out as I was speaking. Noodles up to provisional P4 with a 38.9 with his first lap. Glad he's joined us with him. He's not feeling that great today, but he's going to try and persevere through the race. He does love Miami just as much as me. He's got Will crossing the line again. Does he improve? He does improve in time slightly, does for 39.8. AJ coming around and goes on a provisional pole with a 37.3. Just nipped Dan Morris. As we were just watching Leon come round, final corner, over the turn, goes to provisional P5 just above his teammate. Great first lap from him. Not Sygate. I think it's Adam Maka who goes 36.8, and look at the pace shown there. Good half a second ahead of AJ, but he has had a bit more practice than most others. Portuguese Beast. I'll just follow him round as he finishes up his lap. He has invalidated for the time again. Let's meet the drivers then. Not everybody is here, so Red Bulls of Amadi, the current champion, is missing this week. His teammate Bench Warmer, I've just found out, doesn't even have the game or PS5, so that doesn't help. And Dan Morris jumping in with a 36.3 on provisional pole. Great lap from there, and it's showing that the track is potentially drying up, or once you get the tyres warmed up a bit of confidence, and that's a half second ahead of Adamako. Next we've got the Ferraris of Giza and Wayne. Nice to see Wayne back with us again this season. Giza, who won the pre-season race at Spain. Very consistent driver. Lovely lad, and he's just invalidated. But great to see both of them and see where they can finish during the season. We've got AJ in the Mercedes, so lead driver for this team. And you can see how he has invalidated. But you can see the tricky conditions and drivers trying to push themselves around. And his teammate Josh is absent this week as well. Next we've got the McLarens of Dan Morris, who has invalidated his lap as well. So you can see that as they're starting to lose fuel and tyres warming up a bit and getting to temperature, the times are dropping. And his teammate Will, it's his first season with us, nice to have him with us, who's currently provisional P9, so he's got increased his time up to 38.4, so getting a little bit of confidence on track. Next we have Noodles and Aston Martin. Like I said earlier, he's a little bit under the weather, so we'll see how far he can go through this race. Hopefully he can last the distance. We've got Leon, one of our reserve drivers, who's filling in for us tonight. Be good to see what his pace is. He's doing well currently in provisional P5 on the intermediate, so be interesting to see what his pace is on the dries as Catamini's up to P4. JCB is unfortunately missing this week. I think he's away on holiday. I could be wrong. We next have Adam Mako, championship contender. Was within the fight last season. Was just picked by Ahmadi. But is looking to challenge strongly this season. As Katamiz goes with 35.8. And will he get nipped by Adamako? Adamako, 35.8. So just behind Katamiz. Katamiz on provisional pole. A lot of drivers saying that they're struggling with the pace and things. Pulling out the bag currently. So Adamako in the Alpine, his teammate Duffman, who just left the server just before the race. So which a bit annoying, but we'll find him a new teammate very soon. We've got the Williams of Cygate. Great, I love Cygate. Great driver, really clean driver, really consistent. He knows that he's not one of the strongest. Dan Morris goes provisional pole with a 34.9. These times are dropping. Yeah, he knows he's not the quickest on the grid, but he's really got some good pace about him. And is very consistent. He's currently in P9. His teammate Thelemy, no idea where he is. I'll have to smash his face in when we see him. Got Katamiz then in provisional P2, just doing a slow lap. He is the ultimate teammate, and Adamako can a big Raki. I missed that going up to provisional P3 with 35.8. Woo! These times are dropping. We're not going to realise who's going to be on pole until right at the end. But Adamako can vouch for that from last season with Katamiz as his teammate, because the amount of slipstreams that he assisted with to get him onto pole was phenomenal. His teammate Barcelona apparently didn't know what time it was, even though we've tested it several times, numerous times over the Discord. Any excuse not to race. Big Raki then in the Kick Sauber, covering provisional P3. Very consistent driver, the nemesis of Kiza Giza. Currently in P3. Put a bit of practice in, and hopefully it pays off for him. His teammate Stevie Boy, again, no idea where he is, but he will get a kick up the arse as well. Got Portuguese Beast, who's currently in the pits. I don't know how much practice he's been doing, but he is a very, very fast driver and a championship contender, and I'm sure we'll see a bit of action right at the last minute from him. And the RB, and he's got a teammate Lupa, who was with us a bit last season, joined us from this. It was a mini season last season. Great lad, great time in the Discord. And again, a lot of the we're trying to make it as a majority of the teams, or all the teams, were contenders for the Constructors Championship. So hopefully we shall see people battling then. So let's see how we crack on. We'll have a look who's on a hot lap coming round. I think it's Adamako, and it was Adamako with a 34.6, so he's 3/10 ahead of Dan Morris. He's got the time to beat, but he hasn't got it all his own way. Who's on the track? Is it Stargate? We'll follow Stargate and see what he can do. He is 1.1 seconds up on his time. So found. This would potentially take him up to provisional P7 with a bit of extra time in the last few sectors. Could take him even a little bit higher. Follow him round. And against P6, above AJ with a 36.7. Great lap from Zygate. Got Kiza Giza just coming. He's validated as well. He's finding these conditions really, really tricky. We've got AJ on a hot lap. So we'll keep an eye on him as he goes round. Very new track, this one, 2022. When this track made its debut, let's get my words out. But it's with us here until 2032, so if you don't like it, tough shit, you're going to have to get used to it. It comes round, turns 7 and 8. Looking to open that throttle to the end of sector 1. And he's 1.1 seconds up on his time as well. As Looper goes up to provisional P3 with a 35.7. Great lap from him. AJ's time, we're currently getting up to P6. I'll find plenty more time, I am sure, as the time is, as the track is slightly drying. This track is a combination of a large development process where they simulated no less than 36 different layouts before deciding on this current one. And this provides with his street track no dissimilar to Albert Park. He's coming around at the end, sector 3, coming around. As Adamaku has retired, he's not going back out again, so he's not going to improve on his time. Will anybody jump and beat his time? We shall see. As AJ goes up to pole, provisional pole with a 34.2. And that has jumped Adamaku, but will he have time to do another lap? We've got an Aston Martin coming in the line now. Has anyone improved? No one has improved. Well, I'll jump on with Katami's then, see how he is 8/10 up on his time. We'll get him to the low 35, so he's got plenty more time to find. He hasn't validated, so he's going to have to try and do another lap. And if he's got enough time in his car, is that Portuguese coming round? It's coming around the final corners. Oh, he's a little bit of a wiggle. I don't know if he's got enough time to do another lap, but this is when to go to provisional P3. So not enough to knock AJ off the top step. Oh, it's all happening now. We've got Wayne coming down with Big Racky capitalising on the slipstream behind, unless he's trying to leave himself some gap. But he's going to improve. Will Big Racky have another time to do a lap, or is this his lap? As Wayne goes up to P9. Big Racky jumps through and gets enough time just to do another lap. Follows Sygate as he is P9 and he's not going to improve on that time. He can do another lap, but I don't know if he's got enough fuel in his car. Leon has invalidated, so that is him over and done with. He's not going to improve on his P11. Dan Morris just behind, who is over a second faster, and he goes to a pole of 34.0, knocking AJ down. Great lap from Dan Morris. He's told me not to watch him. I'm watching every second of him as he crosses the line and put on provisional pole. As Loop is not going to improve on his time. Portuguese, will he improve on his time? We shall see. So Loop is not going to go any higher than P5. Can Portuguese go any faster? And knocks Dan Morris. Dan Morris will be kicking Portuguese's arse. But Portuguese out of nowhere with 33.9. Great lap from him. What can Katamise do? He's not going to improve. He's invalidated. We've got Big Racky. He's on a hot lap. He'll be the last one on the hot lap, I think. As we follow him down. I think one or two drivers will be wishing that they'd not invalidated. But can he improve on his time? I think he can. He goes up to P5 with 34.6. Just ahead of Looper in the RB. And I think that is everybody. I can't see anyone else improving. No, Sygate is down, so he's going to jump in the pits. And there we have Portuguese on pole. In his RB. Just jumping ahead of Dan Morris. What a lap! I could say, well, I couldn't say I couldn't see that coming because Portuguese is a fast driver, but he's been quite quiet in Discord, hasn't said anything. Invalidated and one or two laps prior to this, and has nipped the first pole position of the season. So we just wait for this to finish, and here's your grid. Portuguese Beast on pole, 33.9. just a tenth ahead of Dan Morris. AJ in P3, I think he'll be well happy with that. Adamako P4, Big Racky P5, and Looper joined him on the third row, P6. Katame's P7, I think he had a bit more pace, but he invalidated. Noodles and his compatriot Cygate in P8, P9, Wayne rounding off the top 10. Leon in his first outing in Lights Elevation, P11, great showing from him. Will P12, and Keezer Geezer, who just couldn't get his lap together, starting on the back of the grid. Now, he'll jump into the race. Let's hope it's a dry one. I think for one or two, it may be. Yes, it is. It's a dry race. And I think that's answered a lot of questions about one or two driver setups, which they'll just be sorting out their strategies now. And then we'll get underway with the formation lap. For me, if it was me, I would be going medium to hard, looking to lap around maybe lap 14. You only want the one-stop strategy with the pit stop being 21 seconds, but you know you can have a pit stop play into your safety car play into your hands. Some potential instance and the cars ahead of you. It's going to be a tricky first corner. It does get pretty tight through turns 1, 2, and 3. So just waiting for the clock to tick down. There's a formation lap, and I haven't actually told anybody in the Discord that I put it back on, so this will be a surprise to them. That Portuguese leads the field around 13 drivers. And in the RB, Dan Morris, P2 on the front row, would be absolutely buzzing. AJ in the Mercedes, going to be quite happy with that against his friend. And we've had a collision between Leon and Will. Don't get too close in the formation, like your tyres won't be the right temperature. It'll get a bit of a slow launch off the line. And as I said, it's medium to hard. See if a few cars, there's some starting on the softs here. A Big Racky being one of them, I think. So there's a two-stop strategy in play, or if you can navigate that tyre wear, soft to hards. Got Looper and P6 good out in the RB team, looking strong. The fact that they're both showing up means they're looking strong. Katame's in the Haas in P7. He's got a lot more time to give, and I'm sure he is on softs. Of course he is. Come on guys, you're not racing here. It's a formation lap. Aston Martin of Noodles on the softs also. Cygate got down on the medium, so he's going for the safe strategy. I would do too, to be fair. Got Wayne in the lead Ferrari, P10. Leon and Will on the grid already. Their tyres going off temperature, and then Keezer Geezer at the back on the mediums. As Portuguese just holding the pack up now. Doesn't want to be sitting on the grid too long. Brakes heating up. Tyres losing their temperature. And is that drips of rain? Is that drips of rain I see already? Oh my what's going... Is it just light rain, or is it going to rain anymore? What's going on? I can see... Are we going to see people pitting straight away? Is that, maybe it's a good call by people on softs if they get that little bit extra pace, but it depends of how long this rain's going to start for. I did not expect this for the first race of the season. And we're just waiting for all the cars to get lined up. And everyone is on the grid. And we'll look on Dan Morris says that's 5 lights. It's lights out. And away we go. And it's a good launch off the line by the top 3 there. AJ looks like he's just getting ahead of Dan Morris, which he does. And the kick Sauber, a Big Racky just on the outside. And the cars get squeezed. And Dan Morris drops back a few cars. Adam Acker managed to get ahead of him with Katami just right behind him. Dan Morris is the biggest loser here. I think he just had a really poor start off the line and just went off line trying to defend himself against AJ. Oh, tyres, there we go. But is this rain going to be coming? Leon looks like he's up to a couple of places, but everyone is going. It doesn't look like anyone's got any damage as we're going through. But Portuguese remains in front, and AJ is up to P2 now. He was licking his lips to get up to Leon and Wayne battling. Wayne just on the outside, loses a bit of traction, but goes on the inside of the penis, and he's back ahead of Leon. Great battling between those two, and they've both got their wings intact also as they're going through the Mickey Mouse chicane. Great driving. Big Raki will be happy going up to P3, but he does have Adam Acker right up behind him. He's going to try and look to overtake on those softs as soon as possible, and he's talking to do it down in turn 17. He's going later on the brakes, so Big Raki's going to try and defend this, and does give him plenty of room. Big Raki is very respectful, but there's a lot of room there, and I don't think he wants to fight it too hard. As Wayne is now ahead of Dan Morris, Dan Morris is just dropping back the grid slightly. As we have a yellow flag, and that is Will, who's gone off on turn 17, where that's contacted, so going into the pits. Going speed. Great, there's probably a bit of damage here. Or is he going to look at changing tyres? It doesn't look like it's on intermediates yet. Here's a wing change damage there for Will as he jumps up into some softs. Portuguese has still got AJ and Adam Acker in tow, but it's just slightly pulled away from AJ. He's got better traction off turn 8 there. The DRS will be open, and AJ trying to look to defend him. Adam Acker is looking to do the overtake on the outside going into turn 11, but AJ holds his position well. Great battling there as Katamiz jumps ahead of Big Raki, using his soft tyres and his 0-0 rings well, and he's up to P4, and Noodles jumped ahead of Wayne as well, I believe, as we've got battles all the way down the grid. And Portuguese Beast has broken that DRS 1 second from AJ as him and Adam Acker are battling. I think Adam Acker will look to make the overtake down to turn 17 on AJ. Is he close enough to do? He's going to make a late move. No, he just takes a look, but it does look like Big Raki's going for Katamiz. And again, Katamiz leaves plenty of room, goes wide, and Noodles sneaks through. Katamiz left too much room there, and 2 cars went through. But it is an easy place to collide, as Katamiz may look to try and take that place back from Noodles, who's up to P5 in the Aston. And retains that position. Opportunist overtaking from Noodles. We're on lap 3, Portuguese, as AJ is back in within that 1 second now of Portuguese. Is this rain going to get any heavier? As Adam Acker dives on the inside, saw that AJ went a little bit wide and took that opportunity, but it will mean that AJ will get DRS going down the back straight here, going through 9s and 10. Has he got enough space between him? But also Big Raki right up behind AJ as well. Shows some good early pace here, Big Raki. Look on the outside. I had tried to brake a bit late, and it looked like he did brake late and tried to avoid colliding with AJ. And did well to back out of that one, but it means he's got Noodles right up behind him. He's going to try and look at Big Raki going offline slightly. He's pulling Katamiz with him also. And Wayne up to P7 in the Ferrari. Big train now all the way down to P11 from P2, as Lupus just slipped out and broken that train. And Wayne making the overtake on Katamiz with great overtake down to turn 17. Will he make a double overtake on Noodles? He went slightly wide, went deep on the corner, and Wayne and Katamiz both went through. Exactly what happened to him last lap. And we've lost Katamiz. Katamiz going to early pit stop for him. Is he looking to jump on inters? Or is his soft tyres just getting too much? Or has he got damage? Only time will tell. As he jumps on the inters, first of the drivers go on the inters. Has it got heavier? And you know it gets heavier when you, as Leon makes an overtake. Great overtake on Saige looks like 3 wide there. Not a good pick to see what's actually going on, but did make the overtake with Kizagi just following through there. Battling this hard with Saige. Now we'll see how Katami's actually gets on here with his time with Kizagi. As Dan Morris overtakes Looper. Down turn 9 and 10. Makes that overtake with the DRS open. And Looper drops back as Saige follows through as well. Vulnerable to this, and will Leon make through it? Lost 3 places there, Looper. And you see how powerful the DRS zone is there. Katami's is catching on Kizagiza. Is it wet enough for Inters? Caught up by almost 2 seconds now. And I don't know if that's detriment to Kizagiza's pace potentially, or Katami's that is the better tyre, but we'll see with the other drivers. We'll see what Portuguese Beast does here on the mediums. Looking a little bit tiptoeing round, and does dive in on the intermediates, as Will has also done the same. DRS is disabled, which is and Wayne has gone through. He's left it too long. He's going to drop down the order now, as every other driver has dropped into the pits. And we've got a yellow flag. Who's caused that yellow flag? Is that Ferrari? He's jumped in as well. So Looper and Saige all gone through. That is the wrong call. As soon as DRS is disabled, you know you could be jumping on intermediates. And the Portuguese will be catch up to these really. You can see he's catching up really quickly now. He's got just over 2 seconds ahead of Madamaco. Katami's up to a net P3 now. He's jumped AJ in the pits. Big Raki behind AJ in the kick Sauber, right up behind him. So we're looking to, as Leon gets the first track limits warning. Don't worry, you won't be the last one that gets that. It's good to see him with us, filling in for us this week for JCB. That is your current race leader. I wouldn't say he's but has the rain? Oh no, it's just my eyes. It doesn't look that wet, but is he going to try and persevere as Portuguese does take side gates after turn 16? And I think Luca's teammate is not going to try and fight him too hard. Portuguese will have better traction on the braking zone, as Luca doesn't battle that too hard yet. Portuguese goes through, and we'll look, and Wayne is in the pits. Does Luca follow? He does. Will Saigate jump in as well? He has to. He does. So just a bit late for those guys. They're going to be quite behind now and drop down the grid. So Portuguese goes through in P1. Adamaka P2. He's just slightly closing 2 seconds now. But he's got Katami's right up behind him, pulling AJ along. In P4, Big Raki. And they're all just out of a second now. They were within that DRS zone, but they've all just pulled out. Big Raki. It's to and fro in. It's to and fro in. DRS doesn't matter anyway because it's disabled. Just like me, I'm mentally disabled because I can't remember that DRS is turned off, but I keep saying it is. Lap 6, 23 laps to go, Portuguese. Adamac is slightly catching now, just simmering around that 2 second mark. Eyeing that race win, he said in the Discord, he's here to win. He's here to have fun, obviously, because that's the whole point of it, but he's here to win. Drops Katami slightly as Dan jumps ahead of Wayne. Up to P6. As AJ gets the track limits warning, which is going to potentially hamper his podium chances. Dan's got a little bit of a train of Wayne and Noodles behind him. But AJ getting pulled along by Katami's, who has been dropped by Adamaco now. So you can see the early pace here by Portuguese and Adamaco. Ahead from Katami's. He has AJ and Big Raki with him. Geezer just running his own race at the moment, but he does have Luther behind him. I don't think Keys is a big fan of this track or these conditions. It does show when you put a little bit of slight practice in, it does help. Or if you just have that natural pace. I'm not one of them. I can safely say I don't have that natural pace, and I also don't have that much time to practice anymore, and it does show on the race that I do on a Monday. So not many battles at the moment. Looper is following Geezer. They have dropped Slygate slightly, but can he catch up if they do start battling? Adamaka just probably doing a bit of tyre saving maybe, or Portuguese has seen him in his mirrors and just putting his foot down a bit. But we do have for this battle here for P3 the Katamis, AJ and Big Raki. All want to put an early stamp down for the season. Again, it's always nice to get on the podium. And look at that pixelation on that spray. Look at that realistic pixel. And Big Raki making a move was a bit forceful with that with that lunge, but doesn't force it past AJ. I think he just let him pass for bumping him a little bit. It is tricky to overtake, especially on those sort of corners in these conditions, so you've got to pick your moment wisely. Did see a bit of an opening, but it wasn't the right one, unfortunately. But I'm good. Thankfully, no one is spun off, no one is damaged, and all cars are still on track. So I'm sure AJ will probably give him a little bit of a slap, but all good, no harm done. Right behind Wayne. But Noodles right up about Wayne is looking to do an overtake. Has he got that extra bit of pace? It is a bit harder to overtake. Trying to capitalise on that slipstream, a bit of ERS going on the inside of turn 11, but not quite close enough, and Wayne defends his corner well as he goes. They both go around the penis through turn 13, just hugging that inside wall and over the Mickey Mouse. And can he make this, can he get good traction off turn 16 and try and make that overtake down the back straight? You can see Dan Morris in the right ahead of them. I don't think he's close enough to make the overtake. He's going strong in P8. Maybe next time. Geezer has lost the position to Sygate now. I think he's struggling. Just hasn't managed to find the right setup for this track and these conditions. But we know he's a really quick driver. And just struggling to brake there as well, almost slightly colliding with Sygate. But keep going as Leon gets another track limits. Got to keep it on the track, Birds, otherwise you're going to be dropping down that order with the penalties. We jump back with this fight for P3. The fight is as AJ jumps ahead of Katamis and makes it stick, and Katamis slightly goes offline. Can Big Raki capitalise as well? Katamis cuts him off, shuts that door on him, and Big Raki just pulls out well, and Katamis will try and fight back on the outside, turn 11. It's going to be side by side down to turn 11, but AJ goes a little bit deep, and Katamis dives through. It's hard to break in these conditions, and that's a great battle in between those two. Katamis just hug on the inside of 13, and they're going to follow all through. Big Raki is sniffing right behind. They're pushing each other around the corner, and that has pulled Dan Morris as well. You can see it's only 1.5 seconds behind now, and it'll be a 4-place foot battle for P3. Dan Morris is under a second now. It's got a 4-way battle for P3. Woo! It's AJ looking to go on the inside as Katamis loses a bit of traction, hits AJ, and that does knock him down a little bit. I think he just lost traction under braking. Didn't like anyone had touched him. As Noodles makes the overtake on Wayne on turn 17. But AJ up to P3, Big Raki behind him on P4, Katamis P5. And Damar is sniffing in P6. You can see how tricky these conditions are. And is it going to get any wetter to go to Wayne's? Wayne's World? Wayne's in P8. Will it get any wet? Going to go to wets? It doesn't look like now, but it does look like tricky conditions. As Katamise trying to make an overtake through the S-bends on Big Raki, and it's not the time to do it. This is the time to do it. You know you get good straight line speed. And if you battle too much, it will mean AJ can pull away. As I think the yellow flag is after Cygate. We've lost Cygate. Just coming out of Sector 1. In Sector 1, sorry, rounds. Turn 3. It's not a safety car or virtual. He's managed to get it going again. It's Katamise gets ahead. They're going side by side around the penis. Big Raki out position. Gives plenty of room to Katamise, who's on the inside of the Mickey Mouse chicane. Big Raki goes wide. It gets the track's limits. But is ahead of Katamise. Well, they're battling hard here, and Big Raki gives the position back for going off the track. So if the Katamise does send that to stewards, it will be notified that we give the position back. But Dan Morris is now right up behind Katamise, and all this battling is giving the position to Adrian. Dan Morris battling wheels with Katamise, but he's on the inside. Katamise on the outside. Plenty of room as Dan Morris gets a little bit of slippy traction off the corner. It's three-way going across the line here. Just don't make contact. As Big Raki makes contact with Dan Morris and collides with the wall, loses half his wing, and he's going to have to go down the whole of the track to change his wing. And something like that was bound to happen with all the tussling going on with the four drivers. As Noodle's now up to P4, battling with Wayne. Wayne's on the inside. Just don't hit each other, please. And Noodles goes through turn 4 ahead of Wayne, so Wayne pulls out and knows better of it. As Leon follows through as well. Cygate getting speed in the pit lane. Italian hand gesture for Cygate. No, you're the first one of the season. But all that battling. Dan Morris following Katamise through. It looked quite tasty, quite punchy. But we do have Dan Morris following Katamise through for the battle of the 3-4. Dan Morris pushing Katamise through. But that has given AJ current P3 is another time penalty for track limits penalty for Leon, who is currently running in P8. So yeah, AJ. So as we are lap 12, not even halfway through yet. We're gonna have to see another pit stop, I reckon, with these early stops for Inters. Portuguese in P1, 3.5 seconds ahead of Adamaco, who's just cruising along in P2. 8.3 seconds behind AJ, who does have that 3-second penalty. Got Katamise and Dan Morris fighting for P4. Noodles P6, who is battling with Wayne just behind, and Leon closing in as Big Raki gets that 10-second time penalty as well. It's all gone. It's gone from bad to worse for him. Italian hand gesture. A little bit of a slide there from Noodles, which means Wayne will be sniffing behind. Right on his gearbox, and smelled what he had for dinner last night. You can see him sliding around like Tokyo Drift through these difficult conditions. And we're supposed to be in the sunshine state here. I don't see one bit of sunshine here. Will it change again and be a bit of sun? I can't see with the grey clouds. Doesn't look like it, but we've still got half of the race to go. Will Wayne look to try and do it overtake down on turn 11? Not close enough, and just following Noodles through. Noodles positioning his car well, so there's no room for Wayne to get past. As we've got a yellow flag. Is that Will? Will Span coming out of turn 3. Let's pass through. It doesn't. He's lost an end plate. Don't know if it'll help at all, or he's just going to continue to go round, or he's going to pit. He just go wide there. Don't cut the corner too much, because you get too much time penalties, my mates. Jump back on with Dan and Katamise. He's been racing together as well as Noodles and Wayne, side by side through turn 17. Noodles just staying ahead, going across the start finish line, but can Wayne make this overtake going down to turn 1? Or does Noodles have enough pace? Wayne closing in, but he's just not quite there. And he's got Leon in tow as well, who's just watching and waiting to pounce. the RB Looper down in P9. Had a good showing near the start, but just got caught a little bit, 1 or 2 battles. He finds himself, I think Leon jumps ahead of Wayne. 2 Aston Martins now pull each other along. Great overtake, I think, go down into turn 4. Can Wayne fight back? Going down to turn 11. Don't think he's close enough to do so. Yeah, he's unfortunately one of those ones that just pitted too late. Him and Wayne. And yeah, it just cost him so much time down in P9. Giza in the second Ferrari, and Will, I think, has retired in the pits. It's unfortunate. He's just a bit off the pace today, unfortunately. But it's very thankful for him to come and join us tonight. And that is just a retirement in the pit, so won't be any sort of safety car. As Dan has made the overtake on Katamise down into turn 17. It looked like there's a little bit of collision and battering the wheels, but has made the position stick. Katamise will not be having any of that, and will he look at try dive bombing down to turn 1? Dan Morris closes the door. I always find it's easier to follow than being ahead, because you've got a target to chase. You don't have that pressure of what the car's going to do behind. You've got the power behind when you're behind, of making that over. You've known when you're going to make that overtake. As Katamise looked like he went a little bit wide and has dropped a bit now from Dan Morris. As Adamaco's closed in on Portuguese. As Portuguese had a bit of an incident, he had quite a bit of distance ahead of him, and Adamaco's closed in and be licking his lips now. There's still going to be, still needs to be a round of pit stops, but Adamaco's closed in. As Noodles and Leon battling. Noodles just on the inside, but can Leon do the switchback going around the penis? Noodles closes the door on his teammate. They probably need to work together. If Leon is a bit faster, Noodles needs to let him past. As Wayne went invisible there. Strange. As Wayne is left the session, I'll see if I can re-invite him. As Adamaco has made the overtake on Portuguese. I think go down to turn 17. There'll be Portuguese bumps into the back of Adamaco, and I don't think Adam will be happy with that. And maybe Portuguese might have a bit of wing damage. But let's just invite Wayne back. Jumping back in the session. Portuguese, yeah, pushing Adamaco around a bit, turn 1 a little bit. Expecting to be a little bit faster around there. AJ in a comfortable P3, cruising along. Damaris has dropped Katamise now by 1.5 seconds in P4. Katamise in P5, Noodles in P6 with his teammate just behind. And they have as well have dropped Wayne, but it's because he's lost his internet. So hopefully he'll jump back in a second. But the 2 Aston Martins can work together to try and catch up to Katamise. They are 5 seconds, but pit stops may come in play. Looper's not far behind Wayne now. May capitalise on Wayne's disconnection. Bit Keys Geezer, top 10. With Big Racky, unfortunately had that battle and collision with the wall, and then Sygate holding up the rear. I think he's had to pit again. A bit of damage. So join these 2 cars again, fighting for P1. They are good friends. I think they're potentially on group chat together. I might be wrong. I might be right. As Looper does make the overtake on Wayne's disconnected car. I'll send Wayne another one just for good measures. And Portuguese not close enough behind Adamaka. Adamaka is looking at pushing hard as we're going around turns 5 and 6. As Catanese jumps in the pit, the first one to pit. Changing to more inters, I think. I do believe. There we go. So it will mean he'll have better traction. Looking to potentially do the undercut on Dan Morris. Will join behind Wayne's disconnected car, I think. Or is it just ahead? Just ahead. And we'll look to pump in some good times and laps here. And we'll see how he gets on. You see catching Looper at great knots here. He's 3/10 in a couple of corners. And on the Grastons again, just working together. Trying to get a little bit closer to Dan. Now 8 seconds behind. Don't know if filling through. I think Dan's keeping it quite consistent. With a Mickey Mouse, yeah, that looks a little bit slow for Noodles, holding his teammate up. It might be wise to let his teammate go past and work together down here. Noodles struggling a little bit. Katami's closing fast on Looper, and if anyone's watching the stream, might be able to. And Wayne's back in, nice, and Keys gets the track to limits. Nice to have you back, my friend. Get pumping some laps in before your teammate gets you. You might be able to work together though to get away from Big Racky. Oh, it's Keys and Big Racky again. They'll see each other and go, "Not you again." They're like Siamese twins, these pair. They always end up finding each other on track. I'm pretty sure we'll probably end up seeing him battle for a few laps. So we'll jump on with the front two of Adamaka and Portuguese. 12 seconds ahead of P3. Actually, Dan Morris is closing in on AJ. Dan has got some pace here that he didn't think he had. But all he needs to do is get within that 3 seconds and he'll be fighting for that P3. And he'll be absolutely buzzing. Big Racky jumps Keys, and I don't think Keys had fought that too hard. He's struggling today. As Catamese is now on the back of Looper. As we're going down turns 9 and 10. Catamese is trying to get better traction. Looper just leaves him just enough space. And Catamese makes the easy overtake. Looper didn't try and battle that too hard. Knew he was on fresher tyres. Good respectful driver there. You thought Looper was going to close the door too much, but Big Racky does both Ferraris now. Gets himself up to P9. He is on the fresher tyres. Wayne tries to battle it, but loses a bit of traction coming around turn 11. Looper following Catamese, but I don't think he'll be able to make the overtake. I don't think he's close enough. Leon and Noodle still together. The Aston Martins going hand in hand. Will anyone go and pit yet? They do not. Catamese the early pitter. I'm sure he'll be able to make this capitalise. As Damo's still 3.5 seconds now behind AJ. He's got to get a little bit closer, half a second away. And he's under half a second now. Come on, Dan. Let's make this a battle for P3. As we've got a battle for P1 as well. Portuguese still trying hard to get past Adamako. Whether he's using this as a tactic to reserve his ZRS and make Adam use his, or he knows that there's going to be a round of pit stops, so there's no point in battling too much. But these two are not going to get caught. They're 14 seconds ahead of P3, but it will be a battle to the end, and I hope it's not it's not going to be one that's going to come to tears. As Dan is now within that 3 seconds, and we'll be able to see AJ right ahead of him there. I think AJ's tyres might be wearing slightly thin. And Catanese, you can see flying through. And 4.2 seconds behind the Aston Martins. And he has definitely got the undercut on Dan Morris. As we go yellow flag, and that's AJ. I think AJ's lost it on turn 17. I don't think that was battling from Dan. Dan wasn't close enough to make that, and I think AJ has lost traction on turn 17. He'll be kicking himself. He knew that he was having a battle for this podium, and it's quite very unfortunate from him. But I'm sure he'll try and pump some laps in as Leon tries to overtake on Noodles. Going through turns 2 and 3, side by side. It's very respectful driving, left each other plenty of room. And Noodles just retains a position going into turn 4. Great battling from those pair. It's nice to see some teams battling and very clean driving. And Dan, looking currently pretty in P3. I think he'll want to try and cover off AJ's pit stop now and pit on the end of this lap. As the front two still following each other. Who's gonna pull the trigger first and pit first? Or I think Portuguese might wait for Adamaku. Or is he going to try and do the undercut? We shall see. Anyone going to go in yet? They've seen AJ go in already. Not yet. They're going to go round again. We'll see if Dan goes in and try to cover off AJ, who's slotted in P8 currently. Is he going to go in? Katami's jumps ahead of both the Aston Martins down to turn 17. He'll be absolutely chuffed with that, of making that move stick and doing 2 cars in 1. And is currently up to P4. And Dan Morris will come out behind him. It was a 21-second pit stop at least, so he's got a good few seconds ahead as AJ makes the overtake on Looper, who jumps in the pits. He's going to change over his onto fresh inters, and AJ will be happy with that he doesn't have to fight and battle Looper for the position. He does. And will come out, I think, in P10 or 11. Wayne getting a track limits. It's not going to help his cause later on. Front two still battling, going through the Mickey Mouse. And down turn 16. Will they pit this time as Noodles taking the position back from Leon? Leon managed to get past, but Noodles has taken it back and said, "No, you do not, that's mine." AJ 4.8 seconds behind, and it doesn't help these two if they're battling, because AJ will cap. You can see the better traction on his tyre, 14 lap fresher tyres, and just eking tenths out of those times. And I wouldn't be surprised if at least one of the Astons come in. Are any of the top two coming in? They're not quite. They have gone past, but Dan Morris has gone in. I've really got to go in last lap to cover off AJ, because AJ is flying. I don't think the spin or the loss of traction turn 17 would have helped. Katami's goes past and goes up to P3. So if Dan Morris wants this P3, and the Aston Martins go through as well, but I think he'll be battling them as they're coming round. He's not want to get involved with that too much. He's got fresher tyres, so he won't want to get held up between these two. Oh, he just drifts round. And we nearly lost Noodles. Leon has managed to get past him again, but Dan Morris is want to get past these as quick as possible. They're going to be holding him up as Noodles was drifting around the corner, and AJ is right up behind Dan Morris now, as Dan managed to get past Noodles. I don't think Noodles is going to be battling too hard with these and holding him up too much. Lets AJ through as well. And will Leon let these past? Yes, he knows that they're not there. His battle. These are on fresher tyres. Oh, tries to cover, nearly knocks AJ flying, but AJ's gone through, and Leon was battling Dan Morris, and they're bumping there as Leon is right in the middle of AJ and Dan just barges through. I think Leon tried to avoid AJ, and Dan tried to capitalise. Did not want to get held up between those Aston Martins, but the Aston Martins, to be fair, are battling for position, so they're all right to battle. But I think Noodles tried to let him past, and Leon was having none of that. But Leon is now ahead of the two Astons. And we have a battle between Will they have enough time? We've got 7 laps to go. Katami's currently in P3, and AJ just under 6 seconds now, closing gradually, with pulling Dan Morris with him. Dan Morris just has to stay with him and knows that he can jump in on penalties. But it's these front two here which are going to be quite interesting, of who's going to pit first. 21 seconds pit stop, and the guys behind her on fresher tyres will catch up. Looper jumps ahead of Wayne, as Wayne jumps in the pits actually onto some fresher inters. Jumping over wets. Has he gone wet now? I didn't think it was that wet for him to go on wets, but we shall see what the top two do. Wet. I feel it in my fingers. I feel it in my toes. F1 is all around me. Who's gonna win? No one knows. Sorry. 7 laps to go. Are they going to pit now? Surely. 17 lap old enters. They're exciting around, and they do follow each other through. Is it too wet? They're both skidding through. Manage to get down to speed. None of them want to give any tenths up, any sort of second up to each other. As both jumping back onto inters. And Adamaco comes back out in front just ahead of Portuguese. As Catamese comes round the the start-finish straight and will come up out in P3. And it will be about 7 seconds behind the drivers ahead. No, it's getting past to 9. I wonder if he had a bit of a wiggle. But AJ is closing in, pulling Dan Morris with him. 4.5 seconds now with Catamese. They've got to get past Catamese, especially Dan. Look at the pace from Dan. He said in Discord that he's struggling with pace, but maybe that was quality pace. His Noodles jumps back ahead of his teammates. Giza above his teammates. As the wets don't look like the tyre to be on. But I think, look, is that, they're not the right tyre. He's struggling to, unless he needs to get them to up to temperature, but it doesn't seem that wet for me to be on wets. Yeah, you can see him just really struggling for traction. Get round those corners. Sygate with the same problem as well. Holding up the field, but struggling on those wets. We've got the top two. 6 laps to go. And will someone trying to look at making a move, or will they leave it to the end? Got Catamese in P3. Managed to hold a consistent time ahead of AJ, who's battling with Dan Morris, and Dan Morris making the overtake down to turn 17. AJ on the inside. Dan will look at giving each other plenty of room. They do. Little bit of wheel bumping, but that was just enough space for Dan to get through. I thought he was going to clip the wall and get pushed into it as it kinked out. But they do. Side by side. AJ is cutting ahead, losing a bit of traction there. Battling hard with each other. But that's just as Noodles jumps, as Leon actually goes to the first one to go into the pits. So that would mean he will get the undercut on Noodles with those very long length 19 lap tyres. Luca jumps ahead of Leon, who's in the pits as well. These two battling hard, but them both battling gives this position to Catamese, who is a bit of an issue. He's lost a few tenths, but he's now 5.8. There's Dan now looking to make the overtake. There's AJ covering one side. Dan trying to make a move on the outside. I was looking for multiple movements there from AJ, but made the one and then went into the braking zone for the later one. So I think that was a legal move. Dan will try and do it again. Coming down, he needs good traction of turn 16. Going down to 17. Is he close enough to make the move? Closing in, but I don't think he'll be close enough this time. They're both actually now closing in on Castanese. gained half a tenth in this lap alone. Half a second. Katamis did pit a lot earlier than these two. 5 laps earlier than Dan Morris, so Dan Morris will be looking to get on the charge. Try and find his opportunity. Front 2 still going in situ. Adam followed by Portuguese. Portuguese, I'm sure, is like a trapdoor spider waiting to pounce. Katamis just making sure he keeps it on the track here. Oh, a little bit of a wobble, which will give a few tenths back to the guys chasing him. Now 4.3 seconds, 4.4. So it's they're still trying to get under the 4 second mark, but with them battling. AJ going to try and cut off Dan Morris again. Both very seasoned league racers. AJ covering the inside, moves along into the braking zone again and covers off Dan. Well, as they go round the penis. They go again as another lap as Big Racky down in P6 with Noodles right up behind him. Noodles still yet to pit again. Is he going to try and go to the end on these old Inters? Managed to catch Big Racky. Both with a lot of time on the tyres, but 20 laps. Jeez! Doing well on them to keep it on track. As Dan has managed to finally get past AJ. Has he got enough? AJ's still trying to hold on the inside. And Dan... Oh! Dan turns in on AJ. AJ didn't follow the corner round. That'll be one for the Stewards, I think. But I think on my first look, potentially that could have been AJ not turning in, just going straight. I think Dan expected AJ to turn in and just didn't. Hopefully he hasn't got any damage. I did see a yellow flag. I'm not sure who that was. I was too busy watching these pair battle. Still together. Dan still will jump AJ on penalties, but it's always nice to finish as high up as possible on track for those bragging rights. Portuguese still a half a second back, following each other around. Great driving from these pair. Katami almost 17 seconds, just run his own race. Loving the battle in behind, because he's now over 5 seconds, and with 3 laps to go, 2.5 laps to go, no, 3 laps to go, he'll be rubbing his hands at the P3. Dan just bumps into the back of AJ, trying to force on the inside of the penis. Can't quite, but he's trying. I think he's getting a little bit. AJ gets another penalty, so Dan, he doesn't really need to force this. I don't think he's got enough time to catch Katamis. Maybe capitalise on a mistake by Katamis, but if his aim is to get past AJ, he doesn't have to force this. AJ defending strongly there. What's he doing the weaving? There's bumping wheels with Dan there. I don't know what's going on with AJ and Dan there. It looks a bit quite aggressive from AJ. As AJ speeds in the pit lane, Italian hand gesture and retires. He's probably got a bit of damage. Could have gone on to the end, but if he wants to send any sort of footage in, if they're ready, because it did look quite tasty. But Dan Morris now in P4. I don't think he's going to catch. I don't think he's going to catch Katamis in P3. So, a couple of laps to go. We've got the front 2 as Portuguese has made the overtake down turn 11. But Adamaki defending hard and keeps the inside going into turn 13 now and remains ahead. Now this is the battle to watch as we get to the end. Big Racky and Noodles battling. Noodles has managed to make the overtake on those old tyres. Another penalty there for Wayne. Keep it on the track, bud. Big Racky looking on the outside, but Noodles has held position. Great defending position in the middle of the track. Will Big Racky try and do a little switchback going around the penis, but he doesn't have that opportunity, so we'll look to try and do it down the run down to turn 17. But we're back with the front 2 as we're on the penultimate lap of the going back through turns 2 and 3. Will there be another opportunity for Portuguese to make that move? You'd think it'd be this turn 11 again. But I can imagine Adam will try and defend on. Big Raki makes the overtake down in turn 17 and holds position. And it's up to P5. Noodles will jump him on penalties if he can stay with him. That's the top two again. Portuguese doesn't seem to be that close to make that overtake. And follows him through. He's going to save it for one more lap. Well, time will tell. As the battle we've got battle for P5 potentially with Big Raki Noodles and Looper closing in. Is he close enough now? He's getting about 4/10. It does look like he's closing in. Will Adam try and defend this hard? Or is he close enough? I don't think he is close enough. And we'll look to follow him round on the final lap. These two drivers putting on a fantastic performance. Oh, Portuguese going a little bit wide, loses back end, and that will cost him. He's going to have to push now to get as close as possible to Adamaka to make the move on this lap. This is his only moment. I think he tried to push hard with traction going out of turn 18. And he's 6/10 behind. Is that close enough? Or Adamaka going to push hard right to the end? Dan is making his move. It's coming up to just over 3 seconds. Can he do that in a lap? Only time will tell. As Looper managed to make the move over Noodles, but Noodles is battling harder. Three potential. No, it's three. That's still a chance overtaken. Looper makes the overtake on Big Raki. A bit of a slide as he goes in the corner. Big Raki collides him a little bit, but it gives Noodles the opportunity. I think Looper lets Big Raki slightly past, does he? As we've got a yellow flag. I think that was for an Aston Martin. Someone's gone. As Big Raki has jumped ahead of Looper. As Portuguese got a time penalty. That's cost him the win. That's cost him the win. That's game over. Adamako's won this race unless he spins off and smashes his car to pieces, which I don't think he'll do. Right at the depths of the race, Portuguese gets himself a 3-second penalty for track limits. There's no point in fighting this around the corner. Did very well, and I think Adamako letting him pass to go over the line first. As Adamako's going in the... Oh, he's taking the piss. Is he? As Adamako, yeah, he takes the piss by going in the pits. Portuguese getting P2 with his time penalty. Katamise, congratulations on your P3. I think you're going to do very well. Big Raki with another penalty, battling hard with the cars beat with him. But Katamise coming home with a P3. Woo! Dan Morris coming home in P4. Almost there, 1.5 seconds. You just need another lap and you would have been there battling. There's a bit of a wiggle there from Leon. Letting Looper pass. I wonder if he had a bit of a collision with him and he's letting pass and apologising. Great driving there from these three. They battle hard to the end. But Big Raki will come home over the line on P5, but will get jumped by Looper, who will take P5. Leon up to P6. Big Raki knocks down to P7. Got Noodles coming home, who does come in P6, actually jumping Leon and Big Raki. So that drops him down to P8. Wayne, both the Ferraris, miserable weather, having a bit of a miserable race, but coming home valiantly, rounding off the top 10 and getting some vital points for their team. Wayne coming in P9. Keys are coming over the line and in P10 as well. And it's what a race we had. Some great battles there. Some very feisty race battling for the first race of the season. And driver of the day goes to Katamise by the game. Great racing from him. And we're on the podium here. And here's your race winner, Adamako. Portuguese on the second step and Katamise on the third. The Finn doing a fantastic job. So this is our classification after round 1. Adamaco coming home in the first place. Portuguese in second, getting the fastest lap. Catamise coming home in P3. Dan Morris P4. Looper in P5. Noodles P6. Leon P7, his first race with us. Fantastic. Great to have him with us. Big Recce, what could have been for him, P8. Wayne and Giza ran off the top 10 for Ferrari. Cygate completing the finishers in P11. We lost on AJ and Will, unfortunately, during the race. So that is your classification. What a great start of the season for season 25 we've had. Next week we will be at Baku. I'm sure there'll be plenty more action to see there. Thank you everyone for joining us. Peace out everybody. Thank you for joining.